Hi, everybody. I'm Mamello. I am an organic, whole foods, plant-based diet advocate. I believe that eating this way has allowed me to be able to perform all my other roles and responsibilities in this lifetime better than I used to perform them in the past. And I'm an advocate because I believe that it is possible for other people to experience the same benefits that I have experienced on this journey. I definitely have much more clarity. My mood is better. I have much more energy, and I just feel more alive while on this type of diet. This video today is a video that I wanted to make after having a conversation with someone yesterday about their health journey. So this person was telling me that he had a cholesterol problem and that his doctor was on the brink of prescribing medication to him to help with his cholesterol problem. So what he said was he didn't really want to get on medication, so he decided to do something about it. So for about a year, he had been kind of struggling with this. But at the beginning of the year, this year, he put together a plan of action to help him with this cholesterol. So he said that his goal was to lose 15 pounds by mid-year. So by June, his goal was to be sure to have lost 15 pounds. He said that by May, he had already lost about 20 pounds. So I was asking him, like, what did you do differently this time? He said that he read The Power of Habits. And as soon as he said that, my mind just started, talk to me, right? Talk to me. Let me know what you mean by this. How did you change this? So he first started talking about the fact that he began exercising every morning instead of randomly in the afternoons. He said he found that he had to wake up early and get the time in to exercise every day. And that just helped him with being consistent about going to the gym. He said in the afternoon, what would happen would be that things would just start showing up. There would be one more task. Something would show up that he just had to attend to, or he just wouldn't feel like it. And he said that whenever he decided to start doing it in the morning, that created a habit. Now, y'all know, and if you don't know, you about to know, I am such an advocate for a morning routine. And I have found that I have to pray, meditate, and exercise every single morning before I start my day so that I can have a better day. Win the morning, win the day. I've heard that from another book that I read as well. And it just does something. It sets up the day for success. And even if stuff starts to happen during the day that may throw you off a little bit, there's something about having built ourselves up before the problems of the day begin to show up. They help us, these habits, these routines, they help us face the day with more strength, more clarity, more of an ability to get back up after being knocked down. So I was just congratulating him about discovering the power of habit. There's also a lot of science behind this. And I always talk to people about meditation and how it's important to meditate every day. It's the same thing with exercise. What happens is we form these different neural pathways in our brains when we do something consistently at the same time, the same way every day. And somebody likened it, I believe it was Dr. Joe Dispenza. have to give credit where it's due, to driving down, like for example, driving down the road with a tractor. And what happens is if we have the same path that we take every single day, some point you could just let go of the steering wheel and the tractor will follow the grooves that have formed based on the path that you have been taking every single day. So that's the same way with habit. That's the same way with consistency. Doing the same thing over and over at the same time every single day. And there is just something about the morning that helps us to be able to knock it out. Getting up in the morning may be difficult at first, but now my body just gets up at the same time and I just get into action and do the things that have been helping me all along. So that's one piece. I had to definitely ask him about diet. I said, hey, what is your diet like? And he goes, oh my goodness, Mamelo, that's the thing. Before, I would just change my exercise habits, but I never really looked at my diet. And he immediately said that he was eating whole foods. And then he said that he was eating more protein. He said whole foods and more protein. Now, he didn't say plant-based, so I sat and I just listened to what he was going to say afterwards. I was like, well, give me an example of the morning. What do you eat in the morning? And so he said, well, one day I might eat oatmeal. I said, He said, the next day I might have a smoothie. We talked a little bit about what's in his smoothie. Come to find out that it is plant foods. So he'll put in there greens and bananas and berries and a plant-based powder. So he said he would eat oatmeal one day, eat a smoothie the next day, and then the next day he may eat boiled eggs, and then the next day he may eat tuna. And so I said, okay, that's interesting. And then he said, Fridays is the day that he chooses what he's going to eat from those 4 days. He just kind of gives himself the freedom to decide which one of those 4 items he wants to eat. Now, I was expecting him to say something else in terms of the protein that he was getting. I was expecting him to really have much more animal protein in his diet. So I was really not really taken back. I was kind of proud of him for recognizing that he didn't have to eat sausage and bacon and eat scrambled eggs all the time. That's normally where people go when they start talking about protein. So I'm glad that he was able to recognize that. So I listened further, and then he said that every now and then he will do a Daniel fast. I missed how long he waits before he does the Daniel fast, but I was curious because I actually did not know what a Daniel fast was. So I said, hey, what is a Daniel fast? And he said, a Daniel fast is when we eat a whole foods, plant-based diet only for a certain amount of days. It appears to be about 21 days of eating a whole foods, plant-based diet. I said, what? I said, bro, you have no idea. I've been wanting to interject this entire time to tell you that you should work towards eating a whole foods, plant-based diet. And I said to him, the trick is, an additional trick is to make sure that you're eating organic food as much as possible. Only organic plant foods or organic plant foods as much as possible. And so it was such an interesting conversation. So this morning I began to look up this Daniel fast and my mind was just exploding all over the place because I was thinking to myself, this should not really be a fast. This should be a way of life. And it is a way of life for sure. And when I began this video, I began to talk about the clarity and the energy that I have on a day-to-day basis because of the way that I eat. Whenever it is that I consume something that may be detrimental to my health, like a cookie or something that has been cooked with some oil that isn't necessarily good for me, I feel my energy levels go down. But whenever I really focused on, and they call it clean, but plant-based, whole foods, plant-based food, I've noticed that my energy levels begin to remain high. They're high and they remain high. So whenever I eat a smoothie in the morning and don't eat anything else until the afternoon, and in the afternoon I might have a salad or something, that energy continues to sustain itself, right? So I just was blown away when I saw this Daniel diet and foods that they had on that Daniel diet, because it really consists of all the foods that are on a whole foods plant-based diet. So we're talking about fruits and vegetables as a whole. Whole foods is close to as how the creator made the food as possible. Okay, we're talking about nuts, we're talking about seeds, we're talking about 100% whole grains and things like that. We're just talking about foods that are whole. We want to make sure that we are consuming those on a day-to-day basis, drinking lots of spring water, preferably, as much as possible. It should not be a fast. It should be a way of life. And when you think about it, whenever people talk about fast, either they don't eat anything at all, or they juice, or they have smoothies that are plant-based. That says something. That says that if we eat plant foods, they help our bodies to remain in the best state that our bodies could remain in. And so what we do on a day-to-day basis is we eat all these other things, these processed foods, animal products that really are not helping our bodies at all. Okay, they may have a few things here and there that people believe that they need to have. However, you got to look at it as a whole thing. When you eat something that is an animal product, you're also consuming the saturated fat that comes with it. When you eat processed foods, you're also consuming the trans fats that come with it. But when we eat plant foods, the plant as a whole, the apple as a whole, has tremendous benefits all the way around. Okay, the berry as a whole has tremendous benefits all the way around. Okay, kale, spinach, things like that. These foods have amino acids. When people talk about protein, they neglect to remember that really what we're talking about is we want to have these building blocks that create proteins. So when we eat greens, we're okay. Think about it. Think about an elephant. Think about a rhinoceros. Think about a gorilla, okay? A gorilla does not need to be eating animal products. They just eat greens. And when they eat like that, look at them. They're big, they're muscular. They have what they need with the plants that they eat. So I just wanted to talk about that because it really is something that blew my mind completely. I was just so proud of this person because they are on a journey. And I often used to tell people, just get rid of it right away. But it's a journey. It's important to remember that it's a journey. He's got tuna in his diet. He's got eggs in his diet. You can eliminate some of this stuff little by little. It doesn't have to go all away altogether. Depending on where you are with your health journey. If you are already having a lot of issues, it might be a good idea to really eliminate as much as possible quickly and add. And sometimes adding eliminates by just because you're eating something different, okay? But just remember that it's a journey. You don't have to beat yourself up about something. You just have to make progress. And I tell myself the same thing as well in many areas, including my health journey. It gets deeper. It gets deeper. Like I said, I've noticed that whenever I have a smoothie and a salad, these are all raw foods. Whenever I eat raw foods, I have even more energy than when I eat cooked foods. So eventually, I want to mostly eat raw foods because I know that there is an extreme benefit to it, okay? But in the meantime, just eating an organic, whole foods, plant-based diet will really help to eliminate most chronic disease. And it's just the best way to go. It is the creme de la creme for sure. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.